You are listening with steady rain in the background, and let your attention stay soft. You can get comfortable in the way you already know. You can let your hands rest. You can lower the volume a little, if that helps. Nothing surprising will happen, and nothing dramatic will happen. We will stay with one ordinary object, and we will move through it slowly and steadily. The pacing will remain slow, and it will stay predictable. If it helps, you can treat this as quiet company. Just a slow description of a hangar and the routine around it. Nothing will jump out. The words will stay simple, and the pace will stay steady. Tonight we are spending time with a hangar. A hangar is a reusable household object shaped to support clothing in a lifted position for storage, drying, or transport. You can picture a hanger resting on a closet rod or a wardrobe rail. You can picture it being held near the hook, lifted briefly, then set back. We will stay close to the hanger and the simple way it sits and the simple way it is used. We will not rush. We will just rest near this one quiet shape and let it be familiar. The hanger stays and the clothing changes. Chapter 1. The hanger as a quiet household shape. A hanger is a small shape that repeats in many homes. It is shaped to support clothing in a lifted position, so clothing can rest while it is stored, while it is drying, or while it is being moved. The outline is simple. There is a hook at the top, a curved part that rests on a rod or rail. There are two shoulders that spread out from the center, like a simple span from one end to the other. The span can be different from hanger to hanger. Some adult hangers are about 38 to 46 centimeters wide. Some children's hangers are about 25 to 33 centimeters wide. This may vary, but the idea is the same. A shoulder line that gives clothing a place to settle. The profile can be thin, or it can be thicker. Some plastic or wood forms can be about 3 to 12 millimeters in thickness. Wire varies by gauge. This is not always the same. A thicker profile can feel steadier. A thinner profile can feel light and quick to move. A thick profile can take more space on the rod. A thin profile can feel easier to fit into a crowded row. Sometimes there is a lower crossbar, a bar used for pants, or used just for extra support. Sometimes there are small notches, cut into the shoulder area, where straps can rest and slip less. Sometimes there are clips, gripping parts used for skirts or pants. But even when those details change, the main idea stays steady. A hook, shoulders, a span, and a resting place. When hangers are repeated on a closet rod, they become a quiet row. They sit close together and they make a line of similar shapes. If the hangers match, the line looks more even. If the hangers are mixed, the line still repeats, but with small differences in thickness and width. Either way, the hanger is mostly seen as part of the row. It is noticed mainly when it is needed. It can stay in the background of storage. A hanger often stays still for long periods. Then, when time feels short, it is handled more. It is slid quickly, then paused, then slid again. It is present, but it asks for very little attention. When you hold a hanger, your fingers find the same places. Many people grip it near the hook area, because that is where the shape narrows. The hook area is turned a little, and the shoulders point outward. A hanger is lifted, angled, and slid along a rail. It is turned to face forward, then set into a resting position. It is stored by stacking, nesting, or aligning on a rod. The motion is small, and it is often repeated in almost the same way. Edge radius is the feeling of how rounded or sharp an edge is. A rounded edge can feel calmer on delicate fabric, and calmer on hands. A sharper edge can feel more likely to catch. This may vary. Surface finish can feel smooth, or slightly textured. Smooth can feel easy to wipe. Texture can feel like it has more grip, and can hold dust more easily. This is not always the same. But the hanger remains a simple shape, used for a simple job. An empty hanger rests in a calm way. It hangs by the hook, and the shoulders fall into their usual slope. It may stay still for long periods. It is made to wait. Clothing changes across days and seasons, but the hanger often stays. It waits in a line, then it is held briefly, then it is released. It returns to the same resting position again. Sometimes the surface looks glossy, and scratches and fingerprints can show more clearly. Sometimes the surface looks matte, and marks can hide, while dust can hold more easily. This is not always the same. But the job remains the same. A stable shape, ready to hold a garment up. Recap: it is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Chapter 2, where hangers live inside a home. A hanger usually has a home base. It often rests on a wardrobe rail, a closet rod, or a simple garment rack. It may also be found in a laundry area, where clothing is moved, dried, and returned. Sometimes it rests on the back of a door hook, especially when a garment is only there for a short time. Sometimes it waits in an entryway coat area, where outerwear is placed and taken quickly. On a closet rod, hangers can gather in certain places. They can collect at the end of the rod when space is tight. They can become a quiet cluster in the back corner where spares gather. A few hangers can sit in that back corner for a long time. They are kept just in case. They are there, but not really looked at. They can sit in a small cluster. Hook beside hook, shoulder beside shoulder. They wait, then they wait again. And when one is needed, it is lifted out of the cluster, and the cluster closes up. A hanger can also leave the closet without much attention. It can end up on a doorknob, a chair back, or a floor corner. Surface finish can feel smooth, or slightly textured. Smooth can feel easy to wipe. Texture can feel like it has more grip, and can hold dust more easily. This is not always the same. But the hanger remains a simple shape, used for a simple job. An empty hanger rests in a calm way. It hangs by the hook, and the shoulders fall into their usual slope. It may stay still for long periods. It is made to wait. Clothing changes across days and seasons, but the hanger often stays. It waits in a line, then it is held briefly, then it is released. It returns to the same resting position again. Sometimes the surface looks glossy, and scratches and fingerprints can show more clearly. Sometimes the surface looks matte, and marks can hide, while dust can hold more easily. This is not always the same. But the job remains the same. A stable shape, ready to hold a garment up. Recap: it is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Chapter 2, where hangers live inside a home. A hanger usually has a home base. It often rests on a wardrobe rail, a closet rod, or a simple garment rack. It may also be found in a laundry area, where clothing is moved, dried, and returned. Sometimes it rests on the back of a door hook, especially when a garment is only there for a short time. Sometimes it waits in an entryway coat area, where outerwear is placed and taken quickly. On a closet rod, hangers can gather in certain places. They can collect at the end of the rod when space is tight. They can become a quiet cluster in the back corner where spares gather. A few hangers can sit in that back corner for a long time. They are kept just in case. They are there, but not really looked at. They can sit in a small cluster. Hook beside hook, shoulder beside shoulder. They wait, then they wait again. And when one is needed, it is lifted out of the cluster, and the cluster closes up. A hanger can also leave the closet without much attention. It can end up on a doorknob, a chair back, or a floor corner. It can stay there quietly. Later it is picked up again. It is carried to another room with a garment. It is set down, then picked up again. Then it is carried back and placed into the row. Hangers migrate in quiet ways. Laundry day can move them in batches. Empty hangers collect in one spot, and then they move back to the rod together. A spare hanger can be taken from the back of the rod for a guest coat moment. A hanger can be borrowed from one room to another, and then returned. It is a small movement through the home, and then back to the same resting place. Some hangers are stored by stacking or nesting. They sit together, shoulder against shoulder. Hooks can catch hooks, and that can create tangles. Then the tangles are separated slowly. Then the hangers are aligned again. Then they go back onto the rod, one after another. The hanger stays close, it leaves, and it returns. Even when a hanger travels, it often returns to the same home base. It settles among other hangers, close to the familiar row. It stays close, it leaves, and it returns. The hanger remains a background object, living in the storage spaces of the home. Recap: the hanger stays close, it leaves, and it returns. Chapter 3: the basic motions: slide, lift, turn, settle. A hanger is used through simple motions that repeat. The most common motion is sliding along a rod. A hanger is slid, it is paused, another hanger is slid. The movement can be smooth when there is enough space. When the rod is crowded, the movement can be slower and more resistant. This may vary. Morning selection can be very simple. A hanger is slid, then stopped. Another is slid, then stopped. One is lifted free. Then another is returned. The hand repeats the same small movement. Slide, pause, slide, pause. Sometimes there is a small pause while choosing. A hand rests on the hook area for a second. Then the hook is lifted slightly, then set back. A gentle pattern that does not ask for much effort. Closet crowding adjustment happens too. Several hangers are pushed left, then pushed right, until a small gap is made. The hangers respond quietly to the space they are given. They press together, then ease apart. Hooks catch, then uncatch. The movement is small, and it stays close to the rod. When one hanger is chosen, it is lifted out. It is held near the hook or shoulder, lifted up and forward, and separated from the hangers beside it. The hook rises off the rod. For a moment, the hanger is free in the hand. Then it is placed back, and the hook meets the rod again. That meeting can be silent, or it can make a small sound. A creak can happen during motion. A squeak can happen when coated metal rubs on a metal rod. This is not always the same. The hook turns with a small wrist motion. Rotation matters because it affects how quickly clothing can face forward. Some hooks rotate easily. Some hang in a fixed way. This may vary. But in daily use, the motion is often the same. The hook is turned, the hanger faces forward. Then it is set back into the rowel. Alignment is another quiet part of the motion. When hangers face the same direction, they slide with less catching. When they face different directions, hooks can catch hooks and create tangles. A few seconds are spent untangling, then the line returns. The hangers are turned back to match, then they rest again. After the garment is chosen or returned, the hanger settles back. It is set into contact with its neighbors. It is moved in small increments until it fits. The hook rests over the rod, and the shoulders angle outward again. The hanger faces forward, and it becomes still. Then the same motion happens again, another day, another time. Slide, lift, turn, settle. A gentle loop of movement that stays familiar. Recap: slide, lift, turn, settle. Chapter 4: Names and small differences that matter. People use a few common names for this object. It can be called a hanger, a clothes hanger, a coat hanger, or a garment hanger. It can also be called a suit hanger, a shirt hanger, a dress hanger, a pant hanger, or a skirt hanger. The name changes based on what it is holding, but the basic purpose stays the same. It supports clothing in a lifted position. Some hangers are made for adults, and some are made for children. A smaller garment can droop or crease when it sits on a hanger that is too wide. A hanger span that is too wide or too narrow can change how clothing drapes. Children's sizing is offered widely so smaller garments can rest in a calmer way. This may vary by set and by home. But the practical idea is quiet. Match the span to the garment, and the shoulders settle more evenly. In many homes, hangers have small differences that shape the daily routine. Some hangers are thin, made as a space-saving profile. They reduce closet crowding and help increase storage density. Some are thicker and steadier in the hand. A thicker profile can hold heavier clothing and feel more stable. A thinner profile can feel easier to fit in a crowded row, but can mark fabric more easily. This may vary. Notches, bars, and clips add quiet differences. A notch can hold a strap and reduce slip. A bar can hold pants and add stiffness to the shape. But the bar can leave a crease line. A clip can hold a skirt or shorts. But a clip can also leave a pressure mark when jaw pressure is high. Clip joints can collect dust. These are small changes, and they lead to small daily changes. Some hangers are called non-slip hangers. They can have more friction through texture or flocking. More friction can reduce slipping. But more friction can also hold lint or dust. This is not always the same. A surface can feel smooth and quick, or grippy and steady. Either way, the hanger still waits on the rod. Some hangers are padded. Padded hangers can offer soft contact for delicate tops. They can be bulkier and less able to nest. This may vary. Some hangers fold for travel. Travel and folding versions pack flat and can fit in luggage space. Hinges can loosen with repeated folding. This may vary. Some people prefer matching hanger sets. A uniform shape can make closet movement smoother and make the row feel more consistent. Matching sets can reduce tangling and can make daily motions feel more repeated and calm. But many closets are mixed sets. A mixed set still works, it just feels slightly different from one hanger to the next. Small differences, the same quiet job. The hanger stays, the clothing changes. Recap, small differences, the same quiet job. Chapter 5, a slow timeline of gradual adjustments. The hanger did not arrive all at once. Before shaped hangers were common, clothing could be stored folded, pegged, or draped over simple bars. Hooks and pegs became common in homes, and coats and outerwear could be hung by loops or collars. These methods are simple, and they fit the quiet need to place something up and out of the way. Later, early shaped garment supports appeared. This is not always the same. In some accounts, this is described as happening in the late 1800s, and this may vary. A shape begins to resemble the modern outline, so clothing can rest in a more stable way. Wire-based hangers spread later. This is not always the same. In some accounts, this is described as happening in the early 1900s, and this may vary. Bending wire into a consistent shape becomes more practical. The hook and shoulder outline becomes familiar, a stable triangle-like shape repeated widely. Wooden hangers appear as a sturdier option. Thicker forms can hold heavier garments. When kept dry, they can last for years. This may vary. Over time, coatings and wraps are added to wire. Paper and later plastic coatings can reduce rust and reduce snagging. This is not always the same. Plastic hangers become common later as well. This is not always the same. In some accounts, this is described as becoming common from the mid-1900s onward, and this may vary. Molding allows many shapes with consistent output. Specialty hangers increase, with clips, Pant bars, strap notches, and suit shapes becoming more normal. Non-slip surfaces appear, with textures and flocking becoming popular to reduce slipping. Thin space-saving profiles become common to reduce closet crowding. Travel and folding versions appear for luggage space and temporary storage. Matching sets become a household preference in many homes. When you look at this slow timeline, the feeling is gradual change. Small adjustments happen over time. Materials change slowly. Shapes change slowly. The purpose stays steady. To hold clothing up and to wait. It changes slowly, and it stays familiar. Recap: it changes slowly, it stays familiar. Chapter 6: The hanger and the garment, how they meet. A garment meets the hanger in a quiet way. A collar passes through the neck opening near the hook. If the neck opening is tight, a collar can catch, and the motion can slow down. This may vary, but often the fabric passes through, and the shirt settles. The hanger is held briefly, then released, and the garment stays still. The shoulders of the garment settle onto the shoulder slope of the hanger. The shoulder slope influences creases and how clothing keeps its shape. If the span is too wide or too narrow, the way clothing drapes can change. The hanger does not move much after the garment settles. It becomes a support without movement. This is where the hanger is most like a background support. It holds without asking for attention. The garment rests, and the hanger stays still. Some garments use notches. A strap can find the notch near the shoulder and rest there. Notches matter because straps can rest and slip less. But straps can still slip in some cases. Slip is the slow sliding of fabric off the hanger. Friction matters here. More friction can reduce slipping, and less friction can reduce snagging. This is not always the same. Imprint is a pressure mark on fabric. It can show up at shoulders or at clip contact points. Sometimes the mark fades after a while. Sometimes it is noticed more. This may vary. Slip can also happen gently. Fabric can slide slowly and then be lifted back into place. Snag is a small catch of fabric on an edge. Snags can happen during quick, quiet motions. Edge radius matters because rounded edges are calmer on delicate fabric. A rough or sharp point can catch. This may vary. Some garments use a crossbar. Pants can fold over a lower bar. A bar adds function, but can add a crease line. This may vary. Some garments use clips. Clips grip fabric and hold it in place. If jaw pressure is high, it can dent fabric. If jaw pressure is low, the garment can slip. Clip pads can reduce marking, but clip pads can also hold dust and moisture. This is not always the same. As weight settles, the garment's load spreads across the hanger. Load is the weight placed on the hanger. Point load is weight concentrated in a small area, like thin straps or a heavy bag held for a short time. Stress points can form where force gathers, often near the hook joint. Over time, stress points can lead to cracks in plastic, hook twists in wire, or loosening hardware in wood. But in the moment, the process is simple. The garment is placed, the shoulders are smoothed once, and then everything rests. The hanger holds the garment in the same shape each day. The garment settles, the hanger holds. It is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Then it waits again. Recap: the garment settles, the hanger holds. Chapter 7: Closet patterns, spacing, direction, and order. A closet rod becomes a place of repeated patterns. Hangers line up on the rod, sometimes evenly, sometimes unevenly. Hooks can face one way, then drift. Over time, hooks gradually turn different ways. Then they are turned back to match. A small effort brings them back into alignment. Alignment matters in a quiet way. When hangers face the same direction, sliding can feel smoother. When they face different directions, hooks can catch other hooks and create tangles. Tangle is hooks catching hooks. It slows down selection and creates small repeated sorting. A closet can become a line of repeated shapes, and then a small knot of hooks. Then the knot is untangled slowly, and the line returns. Spacing changes everything. A little more space reduces tangling. A little less space increases rubbing. Crowded hangers can rub and scuff each other. A dust film can form slowly on stored items. It can be noticed when it transfers to darker clothing. This may vary. A hanger can carry dust without looking dusty. A rod can become smoother where hooks slide most. Small sounds can appear in quiet rooms. A creak can signal stress. A squeak can happen from coated metal on a metal rod. This is not always the same. Sometimes there is no sound at all. Closets often develop zones. A tight zone where hangers are crowded. A looser zone where there is more space. Hangers collect at the end of the rod when space is tight. Then they are spaced slightly, then spaced again. A small adjustment done without much thinking. Some people group hangers by garment type. Shirts in one place, coats in another, dresses in another. Some people move 2 or 3 hangers to the front for outfit planning. They stay there for a while. Then they move back again. The front changes often, the back changes slowly. Sometimes a few hangers stay in the back for a long time. They are the quiet part of the row. Then one day, a hanger from the back is pulled forward. It slides through the others, then it rests at the front for a while. A hanger can be chosen by habit, not by decision. It is handled most when time feels short. It touches clothing more than it touches hands. And yet it is part of the order. It is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Again and again. Recap: it is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Chapter 8: The Everyday Interruptions, Guests, Laundry, Rushing. Most days, the hanger is used in quiet routine. But small interruptions happen. A guest coat moment arrives. A spare hanger is offered, taken from the back of the rod. A coat is placed quickly, without much adjustment. The hanger holds it anyway. Laundry day creates movement. Empty hangers collect in one spot. Then they move back to the rod in a small group. One after another, they return to the line. Laundry can move hangers from closet to laundry area, then back again. A damp shirt can be placed carefully. It can be spaced away from the next hanger. This may vary. Quick rehang moments happen too. In the evening return, a garment is lifted off the body. It is placed onto a hanger. The shoulders are smoothed once. The hook is turned, and it is set to face forward again. It is placed back into the line. Temporary holding happens. A hanger is carried to another room with a garment. It is set down, then picked up again. A hanger can be placed on a chair back, or on a doorknob. A hanger can be placed down and then picked up again. Then it is retrieved and returned. Batch tidying can be simple. Several empty hangers are stacked together. Hooks tangle, then they are separated slowly. Then the hangers are aligned on a rod, all facing the same way. Then they rest again. Sometimes clothing stays on hangers for sorting. Donation preparation can be calm. A few garments are kept on hangers for a while. Then hangers are returned to the closet. The hangers look almost the same as before. The row is rebuilt in small steps, and then it becomes still again. Small repairs appear in daily life. A bent wire is straightened by hand. A cracked plastic body is set aside. A damaged hanger is quietly removed from the row. Hangers are kept even when slightly bent. They can be good enough for years without notice. But sometimes the hook angle no longer sits steadily, or shoulders deform so clothing slides or creases repeatedly, or cracks, burrs, or peeling coating touch fabric during normal use. Then replacement becomes reasonable. And after the interruption, the routine returns. Hangers are slid back into place. Hooks are faced forward again. The hanger leaves the rod, it returns to the rod. The row becomes quiet again. Recap, it leaves the rod, it returns to the rod. Chapter 9, a calm inventory of common variants in a closet. Many closets contain a mixed set. Thin plastic set hangers can form a base layer for shirts and light tops. They are light, consistent, and they often nest well. They can be easy to wipe, but they can tangle, and they can deform under heavier load. A thick plastic hanger can feel stronger, and can hold heavier tops like hoodies. It can be bulkier on the rod, but it can feel steadier in the hand. A few stronger hangers may appear for coats. A heavy-duty wide hanger can provide strong support and a steadier feel. It can take more space, and it can add a heavier load on the rod. A wooden suit hanger can have a stable shape and higher durability. It can take more space, and it is often wiped while avoiding soaking. This may vary. Wire hangers often appear too. A bare wire hanger can be very light and easy to wipe, but it can deform, and it can tangle easily. A coated wire hanger can reduce snagging and feel smoother on fabric. But hooks can catch other hooks, and coating can wear over time. This is not always the same. A spare wire hanger can appear from a store. It can sit in the mixed set without a plan. It can be used for temporary holding, then returned. It can tangle easily, then be separated slowly. Specialty hangers can appear in small numbers. A velvet or flocked slim hanger can reduce slipping for slippery fabrics. It can stack neatly, but it can hold lint and need lint removal. A padded hanger can offer softer contact for delicate tops. It can be bulkier and less able to nest. This may vary. A clip skirt hanger can hold skirts and shorts. Clip joints can collect dust, and clips can tangle. A pant bar hanger can hang trousers with a simple bar. Bars can overlap on a rod. Space and travel variants can appear too. A cascading or multi-tier hanger can increase density and save closet space. But it can add more surfaces, and it can add heavier load on a rod. A folding travel hanger can pack small. Hinges can loosen, and the support can become uneven. This may vary. Children's hangers can be mixed in by accident. A children's plastic hanger can be better sized for small garments, but it can be easy to misplace in an adult closet. It can sit among adult hangers, quietly out of place. And it still holds clothing in the same simple way. When you look at a mixed set, you can see how the hanger changes slightly to match the garment. A coat asks for stronger support. A slippery fabric asks for more friction. A strap asks for a notch. A skirt asks for a clip. But the purpose stays central: to support clothing in a lifted position and to wait. Many forms, one steady purpose. Recap: many forms, one steady purpose. Chapter 10, the hanger as background support. Most of the time, the hanger disappears from attention. It sits on a rod and stays there. It holds clothing quietly. It waits in the same place. A hanger often stays still for long periods. It is present in the background of storage. When it is needed, it becomes visible again. It is moved in small increments. It is slid aside just to reach another hanger. It is lifted briefly, then released. It returns to a resting position. It is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Then it becomes background again. A closet routine can feel like a quiet cycle. Choose, hang, return. A garment comes off the body and onto the hanger. A garment comes off the hanger and onto the body. The hanger stays, the clothing changes. The same hanger can hold different clothing across seasons. This may vary. A hanger can hold a garment in the same shape each day. Then it holds a different garment in the next season. The same hook meets the same rod. The same shoulders offer the same support. The hanger stays, and the clothing changes. And the routine stays small and quiet. The hanger can be moved without being fully looked at. It can be chosen by habit. It can be good enough for years without notice. It touches clothing more than it touches hands. A hanger can leave a line that disappears after a while. This may vary. Then the garment is adjusted. Then the hanger is returned to the line. And attention moves away again. The hanger can carry dust without looking dusty. A dust film can form slowly. Residue can be left from sprays or laundry products. This may vary. Odor transfer can happen when stored clothing sits close to the hanger for long periods. This may vary. Sometimes a quick wipe removes most of it. Or wiping is skipped until the next time it becomes noticeable. A hanger can be steady, then have one small stress point. Then it is replaced quietly, and another hanger takes its place. Replacement often happens without drama. A hook angle no longer sits steadily, and the hanger is set aside. A shoulder deforms so clothing slides or creases repeatedly, and the hanger is removed. Cracks, burrs, or peeling coating touch fabric during normal use, and the hanger is replaced. Then the row looks almost the same. One leaves, another arrives. And the closet routine continues, calm and familiar. As we close, we return to the stable shape again. The hook rests on the rod. The shoulders angle outward. The hanger sits in a line of repeated shapes. It is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. And then it rests, and it waits, with nothing else required. Recap: it is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Chapter 11. 3 common materials in quiet comparison. Many hangers in homes are made from a few common materials, and those materials quietly change how a hanger feels in the hand, and how it behaves on a closet rod. The 3 materials that show up again and again are plastic, steel wire, and wood. Plastic is a common mold everyday choice. Steel wire is a minimal material choice. Wood is a steadier, thicker choice. A plastic hanger is often chosen because it is low cost, fast to make in a consistent shape, lightweight, and easy to clean. It is often made from polypropylene or similar plastics, though the exact polymer varies. Plastic has low porosity, and it does not absorb water easily. It has moderate stiffness, and it can flex under load. Heat tolerance is moderate. Plastic can soften or warp with heat. This is not always the same. In the hand, plastic can feel smooth. It can feel slightly warm after holding. It can sometimes feel slightly flexible when lifting heavier garments. This may vary. Over time it can show surface scuffs, small scratches, and dulling of sheen. It can loosen or bend at stress points. A typical failure pattern is cracking near the hook junction, snapping at thin shoulder sections, or warping if stored under pressure or heat. Plastic can last for months to years depending on load and cold or heat exposure. This may vary. A steel wire hanger is often chosen because it uses very little material, it can be formed quickly, and it ships lightly. It is often coated. Wire has no porosity, but it can corrode if uncoated. Heat tolerance is high for the metal itself, coatings may soften. Wire can feel cool at first touch. It can feel thin in the hand. It can feel springy, and it can also bend permanently with overload. Wire can deform slowly. It can develop a hook twist. It can show shoulder deformation. Coating can wear. Coating can split. If coating breaks, small rust spots can appear, and this needs verification for prevalence. Sharp burrs can appear at stressed bends. This is not always the same. Wire can be long-lasting, but shape can change over time. A long life can look like a slow bend, rather than a sudden break. A wooden hanger is often chosen because it has a steady shape, a pleasant weight balance, and good support for jackets and coats. Wood has high stiffness. Friction can be moderate, depending on finish. Porosity is moderate. Wood can absorb moisture and odors. Wood can feel slightly warmer than metal. It often feels smoother and thicker in the hand. Wood can last for years if kept dry. This may vary. Wood can show surface wear at contact points. Finish can dull. Small chips can appear. In humid storage, wood can swell slightly. Hardware can loosen when torque is repeated at the hook. A failure pattern can be cracking at a thin neck area, loosening hook hardware, or splitting if repeatedly dropped. Wood can be stable in normal home conditions, but it can be sensitive to repeated dampness. This may vary. When you think about these three materials, you can hold the difference in a very simple way. Plastic can flex. Wire can bend. Wood can stay steady. And the hanger still remains the same object, doing the same task. It supports clothing in a lifted position, and it waits. Material becomes shape, shape becomes routine. The same small motions return, slide, lift, turn, and settle. The hanger stays, and the clothing changes. Recap: material becomes shape, shape becomes routine. Hanger Fact Pack. Chapter 12: Plastic molding as a calm process. A plastic hanger can begin as small pellets. The pellets are chosen as the starting material. They are stored in batches, resting in bins. They can sit for a while, quiet and still. Moisture exposure during storage can matter. This may vary. Sometimes plastic is dried before forming, so moisture does not interfere with shaping. This is not always the same. Tooling preparation happens before the main forming step. Molds are set and aligned. A small misalignment can change the final shape. This may vary. A test cycle can be run. A sample can be checked quickly for basic consistency. Then the pellets are warmed and softened. The softened material moves into a mold where the hanger outline is formed. The hook may be formed as part of the body, or it may be attached as a separate part. This may vary. Either way, the hook ends up in the familiar place at the top, and the shoulders spread out in the familiar span. After forming, the shape cools and settles. Cooling matters because the shape can warp if it cools unevenly. Warp is a slow change in shape. Deform is a bend or twist under load. A quick shape check can be done against a gauge. This may vary. Some pieces can show a slight droop. Some can show a small twist. Some can look straight and even from the start. Then trimming and edge finishing happens. Sharp points and extra material from forming are removed. Edge radius matters here. Rounded edges are calmer on delicate fabric and on hands. A small burr can create a snag. A snag is a small catch of fabric on an edge. This is why touch and visual inspection can matter. Even a brief pass of fingers along the shoulders can find a sharp ridge. Some defects are smoothed. Some units are sorted out. Then surface finishing is chosen. Surface finish can be smooth or slightly textured. A smooth surface can slide and wipe easily. A slightly textured surface can change friction. Friction is resistance between hanger surface and fabric. More friction can reduce slipping. Less friction can reduce snagging. This is not always the same. Gloss and matte also change what you notice. Gloss can show scratches and fingerprints more clearly. Mat can hide marks but may hold dust more easily. This may vary. Some hangers include accessory parts. A crossbar may be part of the body, or it may be added later. Clips may be added. Pads may be added. Notches may be shaped into the shoulder area. These additions create more corners and seams. Corners can trap dust. Notches can collect lint. This is not always the same. After shaping and finishing, a subset can be checked for load resistance. Load is the weight placed on the hanger. A standard weight may be used for sampling. Pass or fail thresholds depend on the maker, and this needs verification. But the feeling is simple. Does it hold a steady shape? Does it flex too much? Does it crack near the hook junction? Does it show whitening stress marks? Then it is accepted or set aside. Then packaging happens in a calm and repetitive way. Hangers are stacked, nested, or bundled. Nest is how hangers stack into each other. Nesting changes storage density and tangling. A tight nest can save space, but it can also hide dust between bodies. Bundling can create scratch marks. This may vary. Counting is done. Bundles are made. Packaging is applied. Then cartons are stored and shipped. When you think about this process, it stays quiet. Small pellets, warmed and softened. A mold forming a repeated outline. Cooling, trimming, checking. Then stacking, counting, bundling. Checked, stacked, and sent out. Recap: checked, stacked, and sent out. Chapter 13: Wire forming as a quiet bending routine. Wire hangers often begin as wire stock arriving in coils. The coils are stored. The wire rests in bundles, waiting. Wire may be cleaned before forming. This may vary. Then wire is straightened and cut to length. The wire becomes a set of pieces ready for shaping. Forming is done by bending. A jig guides the angles. The same outline is made again and again. Hook, shoulders, and a simple span. The hook curve is created at the top. Then the shoulder lines are set. Then the lower bend or crossbar area is formed, if present. Some wire hangers are a simple single line. Some have added shapes. This is not always the same. Because wire is thin, finishing matters. Ends need to be finished so they do not feel sharp. A sharp wire end can catch fabric and skin if finishing is poor. A sharp end can also catch other hangers and increase tangles. This is why touch checks matter. A fingertip can find a scratchy point quickly. Then that unit can be set aside. Many wire hangers are coated. A coating is a thin layer over metal or wood. Coatings reduce rust, reduce odor transfer, and change grip. Paper and later plastic coatings can reduce rust and reduce snagging. The coating can make the wire feel smoother on fabric. It can also change the sound on a rod. A squeak is a sharper rubbing sound. Squeaks often come from coated metal on a metal rod. A creak is a smaller sound during motion. Creaks can signal stress and can be noticed in quiet rooms. Coating needs time to settle and dry. This may vary. Coatings can also have thin spots. They can have bubbles. They can split at bends. A split can become a peeling strip. When coating breaks, exposed metal can touch fabric. This is a reason replacement can become reasonable. Rust spots can appear if coating breaks and moisture is present, and this needs verification for prevalence. Burrs can appear at stressed bends. A burr can change a smooth slide into a small snagging risk. This is not always the same. After forming and coating, checks can be simple. Shape accuracy is checked quickly. Hook angle is checked. Shoulders are checked for symmetry. Burrs and sharp edges are checked by touch and sight on sample units. Then bundling happens. Bundling can create tangles. Tangle is hooks catching hooks. Hooks can catch hooks. Hooks can catch shoulder lines. A small knot forms. Then it is separated slowly. Then the bundle is made neat again. Bundling aims to keep count and reduce tangles, but tangles can still happen. This may vary. Wire forming is quiet and repetitive. Bend, check, coat, check again. Then bundle without too much tangling. Bend, check, bundle. Recap, bend, check, bundle. Chapter 14, Wood Shaping as Steady Cutting and Finishing. Wooden hangers begin as pieces of wood. They can be solid or laminated. This may vary. The wood can be conditioned before shaping. This may vary. The goal is a steady piece that will keep its shape. Wood hangers often support jackets and coats well, because the form is thicker and steadier. The outline is cut. The shoulders are shaped. The neck area is created for hook fitting. Then sanding begins. Sanding matters because it changes how fabric meets the surface. A smoother edge has a calmer feel on fabric and hands. Edge radius matters here too. Rounded edges are calmer on delicate fabric and on hands. A rough edge can become a snag point. This is why sanding is not rushed. After sanding, a hook is fitted. Hook hardware is attached. The hook becomes the meeting point with the rod. Hardware needs to sit at a steady angle. If hardware is loose, the hook can wiggle. Repeated torque can loosen hook hardware over time. This may vary. A slight wiggle can become a larger wobble later. Then the hanger can feel less stable in use. Then a finish can be applied. The finish can make the surface smoother. It can reduce rough grain feel. It can change friction. Finish can dull over time. Finish wear can show at contact points. Small chips can appear at edges. This is not always the same. The finish needs time to dry. Drying time matters because tacky areas can attract dust. This may vary and needs verification for typical checks. Wood behaves differently from plastic and wire. Porosity is moderate. Wood can absorb moisture and odors. Humidity effect is change caused by damp air. Wood can swell slightly in humid storage. This can create a slightly rough grain. It can also create a sticky feel. This may vary. Because of this, cleaning is often gentle. A slightly damp cloth is used. Soaking is avoided. Then the hanger is dried fully. Wood also reacts to drops and impacts. A drop can create a chip. A chip can create a rough edge. A rough edge can create snag risk. A crack can begin at a thin neck area. A small split can grow. Then hook hardware can loosen. This is not always the same. But wood hangers can have a long service life when kept dry and handled gently. They can last for years and feel steady the whole time. When you picture the wood process, it stays calm. Cut, sand, fit, finish. Then dry fully. Then check alignment and surface feel. Then the hanger becomes a stable support that holds its shape. Recap, cut, sand, fit, finish. Chapter 15, The hook as a design choice, not a spotlight. The hook is where the hanger meets the rod. It is the curved top part that rests on a rod or rail. This part matters because it decides how smoothly the hanger hangs and how easily it rotates. Hook diameter can change rod compatibility. Thick hooks can jam on crowded rails. Thin hooks can tangle more easily. This may vary. Rod clearance is the space needed between hook and rod. In a crowded closet, small differences can become noticeable. Hook angle matters too. It affects hanging balance and how the hanger sits level. If the angle shifts, the hanger can lean. A wire hook twist can cause a crooked hang. A plastic hook junction can crack from repeated twisting. Wood hook hardware can loosen from repeated torque. These changes are quiet. They show up as a small wobble or a small tilt. Then the hanger is adjusted, or it is set aside later. Rotation is the way a hanger turns on the rod. Rotation affects how quickly you can face clothing forward. Some hooks rotate easily. Some are fixed. This is not always the same. A rotating hook can make the small daily motion feel easier. The hook is turned with a small wrist motion. The garment faces forward. Then it is set back into the line. Rotation can also add a joint. A joint can loosen over time. A rotating part can develop play. This may vary. And joints can trap dust. Dust film is a thin layer that forms on stored items. Dust film can form on hooks and shoulders. It can be unnoticed until it transfers to darker clothing. Then a wipe becomes more likely. Or it is ignored again until the next time. This may vary. Hook surface matters too. A coated hook can slide differently on a rod. A coating can change sound. A squeak can happen from coated metal on a metal rod. A creak can signal stress. These sounds can be noticed in quiet rooms, or they can be absent. This is not always the same. Thicker hooks can also be easier to wipe. Thinner hooks can be harder to hold when cleaning quickly. This may vary. In daily life, the hook is not usually watched closely. It is felt more than it is seen. A hand grips near the hook. The hanger is lifted. It is angled. It is slid along a rail. It is turned to face forward. Then it is set back into a resting position. The hook meets the rod, the hanger rests. And the routine continues. Recap: the hook meets the rod, the hanger rests. Chapter 16: Shoulder shape decisions, slope, curve, thickness. The shoulder slope is the angled line that supports the top of a garment. It matters because it influences creases and how clothing keeps its shape. A small change in slope can change how a shirt drapes. A small change in curve can change how a jacket shape is supported. Body curvature can be flat or slightly curved shoulders. Curved shoulders can support shape but stack less neatly. This may vary. Flat shoulders can stack more neatly and nest more easily, but they may support jacket shape less. This may vary. Span is the width from one end to the other. Span matters because a span that is too wide or too narrow changes how clothing drapes. Adult hangers are about 38 to 46 centimeters wide. Children's hangers are about 25 to 33 centimeters wide. This may vary. Children's sizing becomes more standard, so smaller garments do not crease on adult hangers. This may vary by home and by set. But the daily feeling is simple. A better match makes a garment sit more evenly. Profile is the side view thickness and shape. Thickness of shoulder arms changes strength and imprint risk. A thicker profile can hold heavier clothing and feel steadier in the hand. A thinner profile saves space, but can mark fabric more easily. Thickness can be about 3 to 12 millimeters for plastic and wood forms. Wire varies by gauge. This is not always the same. A thin space-saving profile can reduce closet crowding. It can increase storage density. A thicker profile can take more space on the rod, but feel calmer for heavy garments. Edge radius matters here too. Rounded edges can reduce snag risk and feel calmer on hands. Rounded edges can also be easier to wipe. A sharper edge can catch delicate fabric during quick, quiet motions. A snag can happen without being noticed until later. This is why a small smoothness matters, even when no one talks about it. Notches are small cut ins near the shoulders. Notch depth changes strap retention. A strap can rest there and slip less, but deep notches can catch some necklines. This may vary. Notches collect lint. They can need an extra pass during cleaning. This is not always the same. Weight distribution changes how the hanger hangs level. A tilt can be noticed. A garment can lean. Then it is adjusted. Heavier ends can resist movement but add closet load. This is not always the same. Storage compatibility matters too. Some shapes are designed to nest well. Some are designed to resist tangling. Nesting can hide dust between bodies. This may vary. These shoulder choices become daily routine. They are not made in a dramatic way. They show up as small repeated feelings. A shirt sitting smoothly. A jacket feeling supported. A strap staying put. A hanger nesting neatly. A hanger taking less space. Small shape choices, repeated daily. Recap: small shape choices, repeated daily. Chapter 17. Surface finishes: smooth, textured, flocked, coated. Surface finish is the final feel of the surface, smooth or slightly textured. Finish matters because it changes grip, dust holding, and cleaning ease. A smooth plastic surface often wipes easily. A damp cloth and mild soap can be used, then the hanger is dried. This is often recommended for plastic. A smooth surface can feel quick to clean. A cloth passes once along the shoulders, then once along the hook. Then the hanger is set back. Smooth surfaces usually have low to moderate friction, depending on texture. Low friction can mean fabrics slide easily. That can be helpful for quick removal. But it can also allow slipping for slippery fabric blends. Slip is slow sliding of fabric off the hanger. This may vary. When slipping repeats, it becomes a repeated daily correction. A strap is lifted back onto a notch. A neckline is smoothed back into place. Then it rests again. Textured plastic can add grip. More texture can increase friction. More friction can reduce slipping. But more friction can also hold dust more easily. Dust film can gather on texture. Residue can gather too. Residue is leftover film from sprays or laundry products. Closet fragrance products and sprays can leave residue. This may vary. Residue can transfer to fabric and attract dust. A textured surface can need more wiping passes, because a cloth needs to cross the small bumps and grooves. Gloss and matte change what you notice. Gloss is a shiny surface look. It can show scratches and fingerprints more clearly. Matte is a less reflective surface look. It can hide marks but may hold dust more easily. This may vary. Either way, wiping can be simple, or wiping can be skipped. In real life, people sometimes do a quick sleeve wipe with a shirt hem, or they ignore dust until it transfers to darker clothing. This may vary. Flocked surfaces are a soft fiber layer bonded to a base surface. Flocking increases friction and holds clothing. It can reduce slipping. It can also hold lint. Lint removal can be needed. A gentle lint roll or soft brush can help. This may vary. Flocked coating can shed over time. This is not always the same. If shedding transfers regularly, replacement becomes reasonable. Wire coatings change things too. Wire is often wiped dry first, then damp wiped, then dried carefully to reduce rust risk. This is often recommended for wire. Coated wire reduces rust and reduces snagging. It can make the surface feel smoother, but coating can split at bends. It can peel. Exposed metal can touch fabric. If moisture is present, rust texture can appear. This may vary and needs verification for prevalence. Wood finishes change feel as well. Wood is often wiped with a slightly damp cloth, soaking is avoided, then it is dried fully. This is often recommended for wood. Finish can dull over time. Wood can swell slightly in humid storage. This may vary. Odor transfer can happen when stored clothing sits close for long periods. This may vary. If odor remains after airing, replacement can become reasonable. Rubberized coatings can exist as an anti-slip coating. They can change grip. They can also peel or hold lint. Sticky rubberized coating from coating breakdown needs verification for frequency. If residue transfers to fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. This may vary. Surface changes grip, and grip changes routine. A smooth slide or a steadier hold. A quick wipe or a bit more lint removal. Small differences repeated day after day. Recap: surface changes grip, grip changes routine. Chapter 18: Accessories, bars, clips, and pads as ONS. Some hangers add accessories to the basic hook and shoulders. A crossbar is a lower bar used for pants or for structural support. A crossbar adds a pant hanging option and stiffness. It can also create a crease line. This may vary. Crossbar texture can be smooth or grippy. A grippy bar can hold pants more steadily, but grippy surfaces can hold lint. This is not always the same. Bars also add one more surface to wipe. A small extra step during cleaning. Clips are gripping parts used for skirts or pants. Clips can hold firmly. They can also leave pressure marks. Jaw pressure is the strength of clip grip. Low pressure slips. High pressure can dent fabric. This can become a repeated daily correction. This may vary. Clip joints collect dust. The joints become small dust traps. They can also collect residue. This may vary. Clips can pinch fingers during quick handling. This is a quiet safety note that is simple and practical. Clip padding can reduce marking on fabric. Padding can help reduce imprints. Imprint is a pressure mark on fabric. Padding holds dust and moisture more easily. This may vary. Pads can detach over time. A pad can shift, then fall off. Then teeth can touch fabric again. This may vary. Then the clip becomes less gentle, and replacement becomes reasonable. Padded hangers offer soft contact for delicate tops. They can be bulkier and less able to nest. They can be spot cleaned gently. This is not always the same. Padded surfaces can also hold odor more easily in damp storage. This may vary. Keeping storage dry can help, but conditions are not always the same. Some hangers are designed for more density. A cascading or multi-tier hanger can increase storage density. It can also create heavier load on a rod. Load is the weight placed on the hanger. A connector can bend when too many garments are added. Then tilt can happen. This is not always the same. A heavier load can also increase rod crowding and stress. Then hooks can tangle more easily. Then a small sorting routine appears. Folding travel hangers use hinges. Hinges allow the hanger to pack flat. Hinge looseness can develop with repeated folding. A hinge can wobble. Then support becomes uneven. This may vary. Moving parts need quiet checking. A clip is opened and closed. A hinge is folded and unfolded. A bar is wiped. Then the hanger goes back into routine. Accessories add parts. Added parts are trade-offs. More function, more joints. More joints, more dust traps. and still the aim is the same. A quiet hold without constant correction. Recap, added parts, added trade-offs. Chapter 19, Quality Control as Simple Acceptance. A hanger does not need to be perfect to function. It needs to hold clothing quietly. It needs to avoid snagging. It needs to rest on the rod. Because of that, many checks can be simple and practical. Material selection can include basic incoming checks for consistency. This may vary. Materials can be stored in bins or bundles. Moisture exposure can be watched for some plastics and wood, and this needs verification. Sometimes moisture level checks are used where needed. This is not always the same. Tooling is prepared. Molds, bending jigs, or cutting templates are set. A small misalignment can change the final outline. So a test cycle or test bend can happen. Then a first piece inspection can happen. This may vary. During forming, imperfections can appear. Plastic can form unevenly. Wire can bend unevenly. Wood can cut with roughness at edges. This may vary. After forming, cooling or settling happens. Plastic cools. Wire relaxes. Wood rests after cutting. Spring back can happen in wire. Warping can happen in plastic. This is why quick shape checks matter. Trimming and edge finishing happen. Sharp points and extra edges are removed. Burrs can remain if trimming is imperfect. A burr can lead to snagging. So touch and visual inspection on sample units can be used. This may vary. Surface finishing is also checked. Plastic texture can be uneven. Wood sanding can be rough. Wire coating can have bubbles. This may vary. Coatings and finishes need time to settle. Cure time checks and rub tests can be used, and this needs verification. A tacky area can attract dust. A thin spot can expose a rough surface later. This is not always the same. Accessory parts are checked too. Clips, bars, straps, or pads are added on some variants. Clip tension can be uneven. Bars can be misaligned. This may vary. A simple function test can be done. Open and close. Slide. Hold. Then move on. Load sampling can happen. A subset is tested with a standard weight. Pass or fail thresholds depend on the maker, and this needs verification. But the idea is simple. Does it hold? Does it deform too easily? Does it crack? Does it make a cracking sound? Then the batch is accepted or rejected. After checks, units are visually sorted. Units with obvious defects are removed. Crooked hooks. Uneven shoulders. Sharp edges. Then they are counted and bundled. Count accuracy matters. Bundles are stacked, nested, or tied. Packaging is applied. Then cartons are stored and shipped. Random carton inspection can happen. This may vary. Retail handling can add scuffs. Retail acceptance checks can be basic. This may vary. Then the hangers leave the factory and arrive into homes. Checked, stacked, and sent out. Then used, slid, turned, and set back. Recap: checked, stacked, and sent out. Chapter 20: Packaging and arrival into the home. After forming and checking, hangers are packaged. They can be bundled with bands. They can be nested tightly. They can be placed in bags or cartons. Packaging is meant to keep them together and keep count. But packaging can also create small imperfections. Nested stacks can rub. Bundling can create scratch marks. Cartons can compress hooks. This may vary. Storage and shipping add more quiet pressure. Cartons are stored and moved. Hooks can bend from compression. This may vary. Then retail handling happens. Items may be hung on display. Shoppers may touch and slide them. Small scuffs can appear from handling. This may vary. Then a hanger arrives into a home. It is brought home in a bag. It is carried to the closet. It is separated from the bundle. Separation can create tangles. Hooks catch hooks. Then they are separated slowly. Then the hangers are aligned, often all facing the same way. Then they are placed onto the rod. They slide into the line, one after another. And the row becomes familiar again. Sometimes new hangers replace older ones. A cracked plastic body is set aside. A bent wire is straightened by hand. A damaged hanger is quietly removed. Replacement becomes reasonable when the hook angle no longer sits steadily, or when shoulders deform so clothing slides or creases repeatedly, or when cracks, burrs, or peeling coating touch fabric during normal use. This is not always the same, but the decision is often quiet and practical. Sometimes new hangers are added to a mixed set. Old and new sit together. Thin and thick sit together. Plastic, wire, and wood can share the same rod. A matching hanger set can become a household preference. Uniform shapes are chosen because they can make closet movement smoother and more consistent. Uniform shapes can reduce tangling. This may vary. A mixed set still works. It just feels slightly different from one hanger to the next. After arrival, the hanger becomes background again. Material becomes shape, shape becomes routine. The hook meets the rod. The shoulders support clothing. The hanger is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Then it rests. Then it waits. It is checked, stacked, and sent out, then quietly absorbed into daily life. And in the closet, it becomes one more repeated shape, doing the same calm job. Recap: they arrive, they join the row. Chapter 21: The slow start of a new hanger. A newer hanger can feel consistent, in a simple way. It holds its shape, and it looks even when it hangs. The hook rests on the rod or rail, and the shoulders angle outward in the familiar span. The surface often feels clean, and the edges often feel smooth. A new hanger can feel calm to touch. It can feel steady in the hand, and steady when it rests. In the closet, a new hanger usually joins an older row. It is placed among other hangers. It is aligned to face the same direction. Then it rests. This first placement is small and quiet. The hook meets the rod, and the hanger becomes part of the line. A closet rod often has a tight zone and an easy zone. The tight zone is where hangers press together. The easy zone is where there is a little more space. This may vary. A new hanger can be placed into either zone. If it goes into a tight zone, it rubs more quickly. If it goes into an easy zone, it slides more freely. This is not always the same. Hook direction is also part of the first day. Hooks can all face one way, then slowly turn another way over time. Then they are turned back to match. A new hanger often begins in the match direction. It is turned to face forward. Then it is set into the line. And it becomes part of that small daily habit of alignment. When clothing is placed on it for the first time, the contact is simple. A collar passes near the hook area, through the neck opening. The garment settles onto the shoulder slope. The weight spreads out, and the hanger stays still. The first drape can look clean. The hanger supports clothing in a lifted position for storage, drying, or transport. Then it waits. A new hanger also begins its first small marks. It is slid along the rod, and the hook touches the same line of metal again and again. The contact can create the first small scuffs. It can create the first tiny dull patches on glossy plastic. This may vary. If the closet is crowded, rub marks can show faster. If there is more space, marks can appear more slowly. This is not always the same. The first tangles can happen early too. Two hangers can sit together and still catch each other. Hooks catch hooks. Hooks catch shoulder lines. Then they uncatch. A new hanger learns its place in that quiet geography of spacing. It is slid a few centimeters. It is paused. It is slid again. Then it rests again. Nesting begins early as well. An empty hanger is often stacked with other empty hangers. The hangers nest together, shoulder against shoulder. A tight nest can save space. It can also hide dust between bodies. This may vary. At the start, the hanger still feels like a single shape. It is used, then returned. It is slid, lifted, turned, and set back. And after each small use, it becomes still again. The hanger stays, and the clothing changes. Recap: used, then returned, and still again. Chapter 22: Dust, Residue, and Quiet Surface Change. Dust gathers slowly. A dust film can form on stored items. It can sit on the shoulders and the hook. It can be hard to notice at first. It is often unseen until it transfers to clothing, especially darker clothing. This may vary. A dust film changes the feel in small ways. A smooth surface can feel slightly less smooth. A textured surface can feel slightly more filled in. A hook can feel less clean where fingers grip it. But the hanger still holds clothing in the same simple way. It stays in the background of storage. It stays still for long periods. Residue can also appear. Residue is leftover film from sprays or laundry products. Closet fragrance products and sprays can leave residue. This may vary. A slightly sticky feel can build up. A tacky patch can attract more dust. Then the surface can feel less clean to touch. This is not always the same. Some smells can stay close to hangers too. Odor transfer is smell moving from hanger to garment or back. Stored clothing sits close to the hanger for long periods. So odor transfer can happen. This may vary. It can be mild. It can be noticed only when a garment is taken out. Or it can go unnoticed. This is not always the same. Different finishes show surface change in different ways. Gloss can show scratches and fingerprints more clearly. Matte can hide marks but may hold dust more easily. This may vary. A smooth plastic surface can show fingerprints. A textured plastic surface can hold dust in small grooves. A flocked surface can hold lint. A coated wire surface can hold a thin film at bends. A wooden surface can hold a film where finish has dulled. This may vary. Lint is a quiet companion to many hangers. Flocked surfaces increase friction and hold clothing. They can also hold lint. Lint removal can be needed. A gentle lint roll or a soft brush can help. This may vary. If lint stays, it changes grip. It can make the hanger feel less even. It can make a garment slide less easily when removing. This may vary. Wiping often takes only a few seconds. A cloth passes once along the shoulders, then once along the hook. Sometimes that quick wipe happens. Sometimes it is skipped. This may vary. Some people do a quick sleeve wipe with a shirt hem. Some people ignore dust until it transfers to darker clothing. This may vary. When wiping is done, the hanger can feel familiar again. Used, wiped, and returned. Then it rests. Then it waits. And dust begins its slow return in the background. Recap: a quiet film, a quiet wipe, and the same steady hold. Chapter 23: Load and Stress, the quiet work of holding. A hanger holds weight, and that weight is called load. Load is the weight placed on the hanger. When the load is light, the shape tends to stay steady. A light shirt rests, and the shoulders hold without much change. When the load is heavier, the material can change more. This may vary. Heavy garments replace light garments during seasonal changeover. Stronger hangers are chosen more often for heavier items. This may vary. When a heavy coat sits on a thin plastic or thin wire form, deformation risk increases. Overloading is one of the things that degrades hangers fastest. It can lead to bending, cracking, and long-term shape change. This is not always the same. Point load is weight concentrated in a small area. Thin straps can create point load. A bag held for a short time can also create point load. This may vary. A hanger holding a bag for a short time can be a quiet misuse. It might happen once. Then it might happen again later. This is not always the same. Point load matters because it can create stress points. A stress point is where force gathers, often near the hook joint. Stress points are where cracks begin. This is not always the same. Stress can also show up as a small tilt. A hook leans. The hanger hangs a little off level. Then the garment sits unevenly. Warp is a slow change in shape. Warp matters because warped shoulders change garment drape in small but steady ways. Deform is a bend or twist under load. Deform matters because deformed hangers make clothing sit unevenly. These changes can begin as small differences, and then they become the new normal for that hanger. A small bend becomes a small habit. The same hanger is used again. The same bend is accepted. The same tilt is seen, then ignored. This is not always the same. Some people notice quickly and replace. Some people keep a hanger that is good enough for years without notice. Repeated drops can also stress the hook area. Drops are one of the things that degrades hangers fastest. A drop can create a small crack in plastic. A drop can create a chip in wood. A drop can create a new bend in wire. This may vary. Then the hanger returns to the rod. And it continues with a small new flaw. Sound can be a quiet signal too. A creak is a small sound during motion. Creaks can signal stress and can be noticed in quiet rooms. A squeak is a sharper rubbing sound. Squeaks often come from coated metal on a metal rod. These sounds may appear, or they may not. This may vary. Load, stress, warp, and deform stay in the background. The hanger does not announce them. It simply changes a little, over time. Then it is used again, slid again, and set back again. Recap: a small bend becomes a small habit. Chapter 24: Plastic aging, scuffs, cracks, and warping. Plastic hangers are common. They are often chosen because they are low cost, fast to make in a consistent shape, lightweight, and easy to clean. Plastic has low porosity, and it does not absorb water easily. It has moderate stiffness, and it can flex under load. Heat tolerance is moderate, and plastic can soften or warp with heat. This is not always the same. In daily life, plastic often shows where a surface scuffs and small scratches. A glossy surface can show dull patches where it rubs against other hangers. Fingerprints can appear. This may vary. A matte surface can hide marks, but it may hold dust more easily. This may vary. Another quiet defect can be a small burr from molding. A burr is a small sharp ridge left behind after trimming. The early sign can be a scratchy ridge. Later the sign can be fabric catching. This may vary. If snag repeats, replacement becomes reasonable. Some people smooth a burr quickly. This may vary. Stress can show as pale marks. Whitening stress marks can appear before a break. This may vary. A typical failure pattern is cracking near the hook junction. A faint line can appear. Later the line can widen. This is not always the same. A crack can stay small for a long time, or it can spread quickly after a small shock. This may vary. Brittleness is a tendency to crack rather than bend. Brittleness matters because brittle plastic can fail suddenly under small shocks. This may vary. Some plastic feels more flexible. Some feels more rigid. Material stiffness choice changes how it reacts to knocks. A flexible form can absorb small knocks. A rigid form can support shape. This may vary. Warping is another quiet change. Plastic warping can be caused by heat or constant load. The early sign can be a slight droop. Later the sign can be uneven shoulder support. This may vary. Heat exposure near heaters, hot cars, or direct sun through windows can increase warping risk. This may vary. When warping grows, the garment no longer sits evenly. Then replacement becomes reasonable. Cleaning can keep plastic calm. A recommended method is to wipe with a damp cloth and mild soap, then dry. A mild soap wipe can remove dust film and residue. Then a clear water wipe can remove soap film. Then drying prevents a wet feel. This may vary. For sticky residue, a slightly soapy cloth can be used, repeated lightly, then dry. This may vary. Plastic often lasts months to years depending on load and cold or heat exposure. This may vary. And then one day it is set aside. A crack reaches the surface edge. Or the shoulders deform so clothing slides or creases repeatedly. Then it leaves the row in a small quiet way. Recap: plastic holds, then it tires. Chapter 25: Wire aging, bending, coating wear, and burrs. Wire hangers can be very light. Steel wire is often chosen because it uses very little material, it is formed quickly, and it ships lightly. Wire has no porosity, but it can corrode if uncoated. Heat tolerance is high for the metal itself, though coatings may soften. Wire can feel cool at first touch, and thin in the hand. It can feel springy. This may vary. Wire often changes by bending rather than breaking. A wire shoulder can deform slowly under load. The early sign can be asymmetry. Later the sign can be persistent tilt. This is not always the same. A hook twist can also appear. The hook leans, then it rubs the rod unevenly. Repeated turning on a rod can contribute. This may vary. Coating changes the story of wire. Coatings and wraps can reduce rust and reduce snagging. Paper and later plastic coatings are used for fabric protection and longer life. Coated wire can feel smoother on fabric, but coating can wear over time. A wire coating split can begin as a small line in the coating. Later it can become a peeling strip. This is not always the same. When coating breaks, exposed metal can touch fabric. If moisture is present, a small rust spot can appear. The early sign can be tiny discoloration. Later the sign can be a rough patch. This may vary. Prevalence needs verification. If rust texture transfers to fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. This may vary. Sharp burrs can appear at stressed bends. A burr is a small rough point. A burr can create a snag. A snag is a small catch of fabric on an edge. This is why wire ends and stressed bends are worth checking by touch. A scratchy feel is a calm warning sign. Another failure mode is sharp wire end exposure. This can happen if coating breaks or if an end is not finished well. The early sign can be a scratchy feel. Later it can snag or poke. This may vary. Any sharp exposure is a reason for replacement. Cleaning wire can be simple and careful. A recommended method is to wipe dry first, then damp wipe. Then dry carefully to reduce rust risk. This may vary. If moisture is left on metal, corrosion risk increases. This may vary. Wire is often long-lasting, but it can deform slowly. A hanger can be kept even when slightly bent. It can be good enough for years without notice. This is not always the same. Some people straighten a bent wire by hand. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it creates a sharp bend and a new stress point. This may vary. When the shape cannot be corrected without sharp bends, replacement becomes reasonable. Recap: wire bends, and it stays bent. Chapter 26: Wood aging, steady shape, finish wear, and moisture effects. Wooden hangers often feel steady. They have high stiffness, and they can support jackets and coats well. They often have a pleasant weight balance. They can last for years if kept dry. This may vary. Wood changes slowly. Finish can dull over time. Surface wear can appear at contact points where fabric rubs. The early sign can be dulling. Later the sign can be patchy finish. This may vary. Small chips can appear if the hanger is dropped. A chip can create a rough edge. A rough edge can increase snag risk. This is why edge smoothness matters. Wood has moderate porosity. It can absorb moisture and odors. Odor transfer is smell moving from hanger to garment or back. Stored clothing sits close to the hanger for long periods, so odor transfer can happen. This may vary. Humidity effect is change caused by damp air. Wood can swell slightly in humid storage. The early sign can be slight rough grain. Later the sign can be a sticky feel. This may vary. If odor or roughness persists, replacement becomes reasonable. This may vary. Hook hardware can loosen over time. Repeated torque can loosen hook hardware. The early sign can be a slight wiggle. Later the sign can be spinning or wobble. This may vary. If the hook no longer holds angle, replacement becomes reasonable. This may vary. Wood cracking at the neck can begin after a drop or dry stress. The early sign can be a small split. Later the sign can be a loosened hook area. This is not always the same. When a split grows, the hanger stops feeling steady. Then it is set aside. Cleaning wood is gentle. A recommended method is to wipe with a slightly damp cloth. Soaking is avoided. Then the hanger is dried fully. This helps keep moisture from building inside the wood. This may vary. When conditions stay steady, wood stays steady. It becomes a stable support that holds its shape. It becomes background support in a very reliable way. It is lifted, it is turned, it is set back. Then it rests again. Recap: wood stays steady when conditions stay steady. Chapter 27: Clips, hinges, and other moving parts over time. Some hangers have moving parts. Clips, hinges, and multi-tier connectors add function. They also add joints that can change over time. This may vary. Clips use spring action. Jaw pressure is the strength of clip grip. Low jaw pressure can slip. High jaw pressure can dent fabric. A clip spring can weaken with repeated compression cycles. The early sign can be slipping occasionally. Later the sign can be slipping often. This is not always the same. Clips can also pinch fingers during quick handling. This is a quiet safety note. It is not dramatic. It is just a small pinch risk. This may vary. Clip teeth can mark fabric. An imprint is a pressure mark on fabric. Imprints show up at clip contact points. Padding can reduce marking. Clip padding can help, but padding holds dust and moisture. This may vary. Clip pads can detach over time. The early sign can be a pad shifting. Later the sign can be the pad falling off. This is not always the same. When a pad is missing and teeth touch fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. This may vary. Folding travel hangers use hinges. Hinges can loosen with repeated folding. The early sign can be slight wobble. Later the sign can be uneven support. This may vary. When hinge play leads to garment slipping, replacement becomes reasonable. Multi-tier hangers increase storage density. A connector can bend when too many garments are added. The early sign can be tilt. Later the sign can be rod crowding and stress. This is not always the same. A bent connector changes load distribution. Then everything feels slightly less stable. Moving parts also change cleaning. Joints can trap dust. Seams can hold residue. Clip joints collect dust. This is not always the same. A careful wipe can help. A gentle open and close can confirm function. Then the hanger is returned to its place. Recap: it holds, then it slips. Chapter 28: Care routines that fit real life. Care for hangers can be simple. It does not need to become a project. Wiping a hanger often takes only a few seconds. A cloth passes once along the shoulders, then once along the hook. Then the hanger is returned to the rod. Used, wiped, and returned. The recommended cleaning methods are plain. Plastic is wiped with a damp cloth and mild soap, then dried. Wire is wiped dry first, then damp wiped, and dried carefully to reduce rust risk. Wood is wiped with a slightly damp cloth, soaking is avoided, then it is dried fully. Flocked and padded surfaces get light brushing or lint removal, and spot cleaning gently. This may vary. Gentle remedies stay simple too. A mild soap wipe, then a clear water wipe, then dry. For sticky residue, a slightly soapy cloth, repeated lightly, then dry. For lint on flocking, a gentle lint roll or soft brush. This may vary. What people usually do instead can be even simpler. A quick sleeve wipe with a shirt hem. Ignoring dust until it transfers to darker clothing. Rinsing under water quickly and leaving to air dry. This may vary. Some of those habits can be rough for wood and some coatings. This may vary. Degrading factors are also plain. Overloading with heavy coats on thin plastic or wire. Heat exposure, like near heaters, hot cars, or direct sun through windows. Repeated drops that stress the hook area. Moisture left on metal or absorbed into wood. These speed wear and deformation. This may vary. Batch wiping can feel calm. One hanger after another. Shoulder, hook, shoulder. Then set back. Then another. This repetition can be soothing. Matching hanger sets can make the batch feel smoother, because each one feels the same in the hand. This may vary. After care, the hanger returns to the rowel. It rests on the rod. It faces forward. It becomes background support again. And the closet returns to stillness. Recap: used, wiped, and returned. Chapter 29: Replacement, sorting, and quiet disappearance. Replacement often happens quietly. A hanger is noticed because something repeats. A strap keeps slipping. A shoulder keeps creasing. A hook keeps wobbling. A burr keeps catching. This may vary. When these repeats become routine, replacement becomes reasonable. When the hook angle no longer sits steadily. When shoulders deform so clothing slides or creases repeatedly. When cracks, burrs, or peeling coating touch fabric during normal use. Then a hanger can be removed from the rowel. It is set aside without urgency. Sometimes replacement is one at a time. One problem hanger leaves. Another takes its place. Sometimes a whole set is replaced. Matching hanger sets become a household preference for some people. Uniform shapes can make closet movement smoother and more consistent. They can reduce tangling. This may vary. Some hangers are kept just in case. They move to the back corner of the closet. They become spares. They wait. They stay still for long periods. They are present in the background of storage. This is not always the same. Donation preparation can make hangers visible again. Clothing stays on hangers for sorting. Then hangers are returned to the closet. Or some are donated with clothing. This may vary. Damaged ones are thrown away in small batches during closet cleaning. This may vary. Sorting can also include small repairs. A bent wire is straightened by hand. A cracked plastic body is set aside. A rough spot is noticed by touch. This may vary. Some repairs are quick and simple. Some do not last. This is not always the same. After sorting, the row looks almost the same. The closet returns to its quiet line of repeated shapes. One leaves, another arrives. And the hand returns to the same routine motions. Recap: one leaves, another takes its place. Chapter 30, End of Life, Reuse, and the Routine That Remains. End of life is often simple. A hanger is kept in a corner for a while. Then it is sorted during a closet clean out. Some are kept as spares for guests. Some are used as simple drying support for light items. Some are used as a gentle organizer for scarves or belts. This may vary. Recycling reality can be uneven. Mixed material hangers can be hard to recycle as is. Plastic type markings vary. Local rules decide acceptance. This may vary. Wire is often recyclable as metal if it is clean and accepted locally. This may vary. Wood is often disposed as general waste unless local wood recycling exists. This may vary. Plastic may be recyclable if the polymer is accepted and free of mixed inserts. This may vary. Some hangers are simply kept. They sit in a back corner. They wait as spares. They are forgotten until a guest coat moment, or until laundry day migration gathers empty hangers in one spot. This may vary. The slow accumulation can be quiet. A few extras become many extras. Then a sorting moment happens. When sorting happens, it is usually calm. A hanger is checked by touch. A sharp wire end, a burr, a peeling strip. A crack line, a wobbling hook. A rough grain patch, a sticky feel. This may vary. Then a simple decision is made: keep, donate, or discard. And the closet row returns to looking normal. The hanger disappears from attention again. The rod remains. The row remains. The daily motions remain. Slide, pause, lift, turn, set back. Used, wiped, and returned. The hanger stays, and the clothing changes. And when one hanger finally leaves the row, the routine remains steady. Recap: it leaves the row, and the routine remains. Chapter 31, The Quiet Failure Map, Early Signs and Later Signs. Many hanger changes start as small signals. They do not feel urgent. They feel like faint hints. A line, a tilt, a rough patch. Then, over time, those hints can become more clear. With plastic, a hairline crack can appear near the hook junction. The early sign can be a faint line. The later sign can be a widening crack. This may vary. Some people avoid heavy twisting once they see that line. Some people keep using the hanger until the crack reaches a surface edge. This is not always the same. Plastic shoulders can also snap. This can happen when a heavy coat sits on thin arms. The early sign can be whitening stress marks. The later sign can be a sudden break. This may vary. When a full break happens, the hanger leaves the row quickly. It is no longer good enough. Plastic warping can start as a slight droop. The later sign can be uneven shoulder support. This may vary. Warp can come from heat exposure or constant load. This may vary. A warped hanger can still hold clothing, but it can make a garment sit unevenly. Then it is noticed more often. Plastic surface scuffing can begin as dull patches. Later it can become a rough feel. This may vary. Replacement is often optional unless snagging begins. This is not always the same. A plastic burr from molding can begin as a small sharp ridge. Later fabric can catch. If snag repeats, replacement becomes reasonable. With wire, deformation is often gradual. Wire shoulder deformation can begin as asymmetry. Later it becomes persistent tilt. This may vary. A wire hook twist can begin as a slight lean. Later the hook rubs the rod unevenly. This may vary. When the hook rub causes scraping and instability, replacement becomes reasonable. Wire coating split can begin as a small line in the coating. Later it can become a peeling strip. This is not always the same. When exposed metal touches fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. If moisture is present, a rust spot can appear when coating breaks. The early sign can be tiny discoloration. The later sign can be a rough patch. This may vary. Prevalence needs verification. If rust texture transfers to fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. A sharp wire end exposure is one of the clearer signs. The early sign can be a scratchy feel. The later sign can be a snag or a poke. This may vary. Any sharp exposure is a reason for replacement. It changes the hanger from calm to risky in a small way. With wood, finish wear can begin as dulling. Later it can become patchy finish. This may vary. Replacement is often optional unless roughness causes snagging. Wood swelling can begin as slight rough grain. Later it can become a sticky feel. This may vary. Wood cracking at the neck can begin as a small split. Later the hook area can loosen. This is not always the same. Hook hardware loosening can begin as a slight wiggle. Later it can become spinning or wobble. This may vary. When the hook no longer holds angle, replacement becomes reasonable. Clips have their own quiet wear. Clip spring weakening can begin as slipping occasionally. Later it becomes slipping often. This is not always the same. Clip teeth marking fabric can begin as a small line. Later it becomes repeated denting. This may vary. Clip pad detachment can begin as a pad shifting. Later it falls off. This may vary. When a pad is missing and teeth touch fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. Some coatings change in ways that are noticed by touch. Flocked coating shedding can begin with small fibers on clothing. Later it can show bare patches. This may vary. When shedding transfers regularly, replacement becomes reasonable. Sticky rubberized coating is another possibility. The early sign can be a tacky feel. Later the sign can be residue transfer. This may vary, and frequency needs verification. When residue transfers to fabric, replacement becomes reasonable. Odor retention can also be a reason. Wood or padded surfaces can hold odor if stored in scented or damp areas. The early sign can be a mild smell. Later it can be persistent smell. This may vary. If odor remains after airing, replacement becomes reasonable. All of these are quiet changes. A faint line becomes a clearer line. A slight tilt becomes a persistent tilt. A smooth surface becomes a rough patch. And then one day, the hanger is set aside. Not with drama. Just with a simple, calm decision. Recap: small signs grow slowly, then the hanger is set aside. Chapter 32: The hanger disappearing back into habit. After care and sorting, the hanger returns to its simplest role. It becomes background support again. It sits on a rod and stays there. It is handled most when time feels short. It is moved without being fully looked at. It touches clothing more than it touches hands. The closet line becomes a quiet line of repeated shapes. Some hangers face the same way. Some slowly turn. Then they are turned back to match. Spacing changes everything. A little more space reduces tangling. A little less space increases rubbing. This may vary. A hanger can be silent, then make a small sound at one point. A creak can signal stress. A squeak can happen on a coated hook against a metal rod. This may vary. Then the sound fades again. And the row returns to silence. The daily cycle stays small. A hanger is slid. It is paused. Another hanger is slid. One is lifted free. Then another is returned. The hook is turned. It is set to face forward. Then it rests. Used, wiped, and returned. A small bend becomes a small habit. And when the habit becomes too noticeable, replacement becomes reasonable. Then the new hanger joins the line. And the line looks almost the same again. It is lifted. It is turned. It is set back. The hanger stays, and the clothing changes. And the quiet closet routine continues, steady and predictable. Recap: it is lifted, it is turned, it is set back.